Hello, happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope you're having a good week so far. We're about halfway through, getting closer to the weekend, so that's always a good thing. All right, so today we are going to talk about willpower. So when I ask women, what is one of their biggest struggles when it comes to losing weight or toning up or just feeling more confident in their bodies? One of the answers that I get quite often is that I don't have enough willpower. So, essentially they're saying that, no matter how hard they are trying, the cravings take over or their energy crashes and they end up making choices that they later on regret. Okay, so if that sounds familiar to you, make sure you keep listening because I'm here to tell you that willpower is not the problem, but protein is. And you're probably thinking, okay, what in the world do willpower and protein have in common? And I will share that with you. So let's first talk about why willpower is overrated. Willpower is kind of like a phone battery and it drains throughout the day. Your willpower is draining throughout the day, especially on days when you are feeling stressed, when you're feeling tired, when you're feeling hungry. The willpower drains even faster then. So relying on willpower alone is just going to set you up for failure, okay? Because it just absolutely is not sustainable to just think, okay, if only I could just rely on my willpower. And then boom, you have a really crappy day, you're really stressed out, you barely got any sleep last night, and now all of a sudden it's kind of like, oh crap, my willpower is gone. And you cave, and then an hour later, you feel a little disappointed in your choices. So, studies have actually shown that decision fatigue is a real thing. We make so many decisions all day long, especially if we are moms and we are in charge of other human beings, or if we have a managerial position where we are in charge of other adult human beings. We are making so many decisions throughout the day, and we end up having decision fatigue, especially as the day wears on, and decision fatigue weakens our self-control. Okay, so that is one reason why, and this is a totally different topic, but one reason why I'm a huge proponent of meal planning. It's because decision fatigue hits you really hard after work, right around dinner time. And if you've made 1,001 decisions all day long, then having to make one more decision, such as what do I make for dinner today, might just tip you over the edge. And it'd be so much easier to just go order out dinner from somewhere or go through the drive-thru on the way home. But if you have already planned your meals out for the week and you know exactly what you're going to be having for dinner tonight, you don't have to make that decision. You have already purchased the groceries. You don't have to do any extra work. That helps a ton with decision fatigue. And I could do a whole nother video on that. But overall, willpower is overrated. Think of it as a phone battery. It is drained out of you as the day goes on, especially if you're having a challenging day, okay? Now, on the other hand, protein is actually the key to self-control. It's almost like a cheat code for self-control, okay? And there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, protein helps regulate your blood sugar. So you end up having energy crashes and cravings because of your blood sugar going up and down throughout the day. When we eat protein throughout the day, not just one time of the day, but if we're eating protein throughout the entire day, that helps to regulate our blood sugar so that we don't have the energy crashes and we don't have the cravings. So that right there is a huge, huge benefit of protein. But there's plenty more, all right? Protein also helps keep you feeling fuller for longer. So we have several hormones in our body that are responsible for feeling full and for feeling hungry. When we eat protein, it increases those hormones that keep us feeling full. So we feel fuller for a longer amount of time. And the protein also decreases the hormones that make us feel hungry. So double bonus right there, okay? We increase the feeling full hormones, we decrease the feeling hungry hormones when we eat protein, okay? And then protein also helps to stabilize our mood. It helps to stabilize our energy, which we already talked about a little bit. We don't have those energy dips from blood sugar being all over the place. So because your mood is more stabilized and your energy is more stabilized, you are going to be much less likely to reach for some quick fix, some craving that you have, for things like sugar or processed carbohydrates, which are typically the things that we end up craving at that 2-3 p.m. afternoon slump. Okay. If you have a high protein lunch, you will notice that those energy crashes, those mid-afternoon energy crashes, those mid-afternoon cravings will essentially go away. Okay. Protein also makes weight loss so much easier. I mean, protein really is kind of the cheat code to a lot of things when it comes to weight loss and, having self-control and all of that. So protein helps to reduce cravings, which we already mentioned. And, studies have shown that if you start the morning with a high protein breakfast, which I highly recommend, that people who do that have fewer cravings throughout the day. Okay. Protein also boosts our metabolism. So our metabolism is essentially all of the calories that we are burning throughout the day for our body to do everything that it needs to do. Okay. And when we eat protein, it takes longer for our body to digest the protein. So we are actually burning more calories digesting protein than we burn when we are digesting carbohydrates or fats. Okay? So we are burning more calories throughout the day when we eat protein. Okay? And then finally, and maybe, I don't want to say most important because all of these are super important, but protein helps to preserve muscle mass. Starting at the age of 30, I'm sure many of you have heard me say this 1,000 times, but starting at the age of 30, we start losing 3 to 8% of our muscle mass each decade. And one of the reasons many people gain weight as they age is because of that. It's just natural muscle loss. But what happens is muscle is more metabolically active than fat is. So we are burning more calories the more muscle that we have on our bodies. If we start losing that muscle and we're not replacing it, then we are burning fewer calories throughout the day. But most likely we're still eating the same number of calories as we were before when we had more muscle. So now we might be eating in a calorie surplus, eating more calories than we're burning, and so we start gaining weight. But we don't have to deal with that age-related muscle loss. All we have to do is build the muscle back. And you could start at any age. Okay? If you start in your teens and 20s, you're well ahead of the game. But you can start in your 70s and start strength training and building muscle by lifting weights, and that will put muscle back on your body. That will increase your metabolism. So it doesn't matter what age you are. It's never too late to build muscle. And especially for us women in perimenopause and beyond, it is incredibly important for us to build that muscle back up. Okay. And protein helps us do that. So yes, we have to, lift weights, do strength training to build muscle, but protein helps us maintain that muscle mass so that we keep our metabolism elevated. We do not have to suffer from age-related weight gain. We absolutely do not have to. All we have to do is put that muscle back on our bodies, okay? So, a lot of benefits of protein. So, let's just do a quick little recap. It helps regulate our blood sugar so we don't have those energy crashes. It helps us feel fuller for longer because it increases our fullness hormones and decreases our hunger hormones. It stabilizes our mood and our energy so that we don't have those cravings. It boosts our metabolism. We burn more calories when we are digesting, too many words here. When we are digesting protein, we burn more calories than other macros. And it helps us preserve our muscle mass, which is essential to increasing our metabolism as well. Okay. So one thing that I do with my clients, and that I would urge you to start doing right now, if you're not already paying attention to how much protein you are eating, before I give my clients a calorie goal to work towards, to ensure that they are eating in a calorie deficit so that they can lose weight, before we even do that, we focus on eating protein. Okay, I call it the protein first strategy. If you focus on eating protein at every single meal throughout the day, you will naturally eat less food. Because again, protein keeps us feeling fuller for longer. We're not feeling hungry, we're feeling satiated. So if we just focus on protein, we're going to eat less overall, okay? Another tip with the protein first strategy is whenever you plate your food, whatever meal it is, every meal should have protein in it, including your snacks. When you plate your food, eat the protein part of your meal first. So if you are having some scrambled eggs with some toast and some fruit, eat the scrambled eggs first. Okay. If you're having chicken and rice and broccoli tonight, eat the chicken first. Okay. Again, it's going to fill you up. So it's going to crowd out the other foods that may not be as beneficial for you. Now, both of those meals are pretty healthy meals, but, especially if you are, let's say you go to Culver's and you get a chicken sandwich and French fries. Eat the chicken sandwich first, okay? And then whatever room you have left, eat the French fries. You may not be able to eat all of the French fries because you've already filled yourself up on the protein. Okay. And then ensure that when you are snacking, opt for high protein snacks. Okay. So things like cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, turkey jerky, beef jerky. You could do like hard-boiled eggs as a snack. Protein bar is fine too, or a protein shake. But ensure that your snacks have protein too, okay? I would recommend that you aim for 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal. So if you're not already tracking your foods, that is something I absolutely recommend you do right away. It is the biggest mover of the needle when it comes to being able to lose weight. Because you become more aware of what you are eating. You become more aware of the number of calories and the amount of protein in different foods. And it holds you accountable. Because if you know that you have to write or, input everything into whatever tracking app you're using, MyFitnessPal, calorie counter, chronometer, whatever you choose to use. It doesn't matter which app it is. But if you know that you have to input every single thing that you eat in there, there's a good chance that you may talk yourself out of eating something that you know is not going to move you closer towards your goals. Okay, so an example I like to give, if you have a coworker who, has a candy dish on her desk, and typically you would walk past it and always grab a piece of candy. You may not do that anymore, knowing that you have to then go into the app and track that candy. Okay, so it just helps keep you a little bit more accountable. But for now, use that tracking app just to ensure that you're eating enough protein, just to ensure that you are getting 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. Okay, and I promise you, you will feel a difference. You will feel fewer cravings. You will feel fewer energy crashes. You will no longer believe that you have to rely on willpower, because protein just kind of pushes willpower aside and it does the work for you. Okay, so that is my challenge to you. Eat 20 to 30 grams of protein at every single meal for at least the next week. If you are willing to accept my challenge, comment, "I'm in." Okay, and I will follow up with you to give you even more accountability to ensure that you are following through with the challenge. And I cannot wait to hear what you realize and what kind of like that big aha with protein once you've prioritized eating protein first for a week. It doesn't take long. Just a week of it, and you will notice the differences in how your day flows, okay, and how you're feeling. So comment, "I'm in," if you are up for this challenge. I also have a protein cheat sheet that I can share with you that will give you examples of different proteins. Protein does not have to be meat. There are a lot of other protein sources out there. And then the protein cheat sheet also tells you how many grams of protein per serving of the different examples on there. So if you would like the protein cheat sheet, just comment "protein cheat sheet" and I will send that over to you. All right, so let's get the word willpower, let's get the belief that we have no willpower out of our brains, and let's focus on protein. All right, can't wait to see how you do with it. Have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will talk to all of you soon. Take care.